A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 12th November 2020, and I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by William Geddes. Power doesn't corrupt people, people corrupt power, and he is absolutely right. It is not the post, it is not the chair that is negative or positive. It is the person who is sitting on that particular chair or holding that post, and that person's personality, his nature will decide whether power will be used for positive or for negative purpose. With this, dear friends, we have a very, very interesting article on our table. It is about legal language in India is filled with jargon. Now, this is a topic that we don't talk about that much. This is a sort of topic that is very important, that affects every one of us, but we hardly talk about it, or we hardly notice this problem. It's like sound pollution. Everyone is suffering from it, but we are not taking it that seriously. So same thing applies to legal language as well. Very interesting topic. We are going to spend at least 10 minutes after it, and this is very important for your overall understanding as well as your mains examination. Integrated healthcare system. This one is from Times of India. Then we have Back to the House. This one is from the Hindu newspaper, and this one is about politics, particularly defection. Here as well, I would like to add some interesting points that will be like food for thought for you guys. And a time for cautious optimism. This one is about COVID vaccine. With this difference, the big Diwali sale is on. This is going to last till 17th November only. Now, what is the most exciting thing about this big Diwali sale? The thing is that on all our smart courses, you are getting flat 50% discount. And when you use Diwali 10 code, you will get on top extra 10% discount. So 60% discount on all our smart courses. Make the most out of it. 17th November is not far from where we are now. So do it today itself. To find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Legal language in India is filled with jargon. Now, dear friends, I'm sure you have gone through many official notifications, right? If you go through, Google it, right? Official notification of your state government. If you are living in Jharkhand or Gujarat or Maharashtra or Bihar, just download any random notification of your local government, and you will find that you have to read it twice or thrice or maybe 5 times just to understand the things that are written on that particular notification. If you go through government contract tenders, then as well you will find the language that they use is, oh my god, very difficult, right? It's nearly impossible for us to understand. You have to take it to an expert, or you have to take it to that particular official to understand that thing. Same thing applies to court language as well. If you go through your property registration documents, you will find the same difficult words, right? Very difficult to understand. And the reason is not about being illiterate or literate. Even if you are literate, those words, those lines will make you feel that you know nothing about anything, you know. A few years ago, I came across this interesting article. It was about legal language, and if I'm not wrong, I don't remember exact the words of that article, but I do have the gist of the article. And the article said that it's been nearly 10 years now, like a decade or something, that UK, that is United Kingdom, the judiciary of UK, or the government of UK, they came out with this idea, and they have a law over there now that when it comes to judiciary, for example, you have to use simple words, right? Official communication should be in normal English. It should not be gibberish, or it should not be, too technical and too difficult words that is very difficult for a common person to understand. There are benefits. There are so many benefits, right? It will create awareness in you. People will take more interest in things that are easy to understand. Just imagine that if I use difficult words every single day in this analysis, then it will not means for few days you will feel, wow, that I'm using so many difficult and new words. But then you will lose interest, because it's not about how you or which are the words that you use. It is how easy it is for the listener and the viewers, right, to understand what's being discussed here. That is the most important thing. And it is very easy to write in or speak in a difficult language. When I say difficult, I'm talking about words. It is very easy. You can keep some words handy, and then you can use those words. Then it's very easy to do that thing. And that is not art. That is like you're trying to display your ego. The most important thing is to be as simple as possible. Use common words, use more simple words that can deliver the message without changing the meaning of the thing. So it's a good thing that Subhas Vijayaran, a lawyer, has recently filed a public interest litigation in Supreme Court. The name of this case is Subhas Vijayaran versus Union of India. Now, what he wants is that the legislature as well as executive use plain English in drafting laws so that it is easy to understand for every one of us. This is a good step taken by Subhas Vijayaran. I congratulate him for taking this step and filing this PIL. But one thing that is missing here is judiciary. So not just legislature and executives, but I strongly believe that judiciary should also use as simple language as possible. Now, reacting to the plea, the Supreme Court has asked the Ministry of Law and Justice and Bar Council to respond. The writing of most lawyers in this PIL, he has said, that is wordy, unclear, pompous, and dull. We use 8 words to say what can be said in 2. We use arcane phrases to express commonplace ideas. Now just observe these 2 big paragraphs, particularly the top paragraph on your screen. It's not just a paragraph, but it is also a single line. It is this long. And this line is written by Himachal Pradesh High Court back in 2016 in a particular case. The Himachal Pradesh High Court ruled, if you go through it, I'm sure, right? I can say that I have a good understanding of English, the language of English, of course, and I have gone through. I have read these 2 paragraphs, right? But to be honest, I'm not sure what these 2 paragraphs are trying to tell us. It's all gibberish, and it's not just gibberish for me or difficult to comprehend for me. Even Supreme Court has said that. You see, the entire judgment is like this, and I can quote paragraph after paragraph on what is nothing but gibberish. So Supreme Court has itself said that this is very difficult to understand judgment. We should not use this sort of language, of course, and we can follow George Orwell. George Orwell set out 6 principles for writing plain English. He said that never use a metaphor, simile, or other figure of speech which you are used to seeing in print. Print in the sense, a newspaper. In newspaper, they write this sort of difficult words and phrases and similes and metaphors, but we can avoid those. We can use simple words to express what we are trying to say. Never use a long word where a short one will do. This is very important. So many writers, what they feel is to display their intelligence and to display their, to display that they are intellectuals. What they do is they will use those difficult words. But writing in, as I told you, writing in difficult words is easy. The most difficult thing is to write in easy word. If it is possible to cut down a word out, always cut it out. If you can make it short and sweet, then do it. And never use the passive where you can use the active, and never use a foreign phrase, a scientific word, or a jargon word if you can think of an everyday English equivalent. If we can have a simple word that is easy to understand that we use quite commonly, then you should use it rather than a foreign phrase or scientific word. And break any of these rules sooner than say anything barbarous. So he has also said it with a sort of wit, or with his cheerfulness, that if you can break these words and if you can make it more simple, then do it. Don't wait for these rules. Copy editors routinely use these principles, these 6 principles, but not the judiciary. Typically, judges don't write judgments, they dictate them. And the person who is writing that particular judgment, he or she is trained in such a fashion. There is a culture of using this sort of words, which is easy to comprehend for the people who belong to this particular profession. But it is nearly impossible for us, even if we are educated, to comprehend and to understand what exactly the judgment is trying to tell us. So why we are giving this much energy to this particular topic? Now I want you guys to think about it. I'll give you a few food for thought, right, for you guys. Like, for example, as I told you earlier, right, the thing is, just imagine if you can write things, if you have any sort of issue, right? If something is wrong and if you want to file a case or something, then if you can do it using simple language, right? Simple and easy to understand language. And if you can do that thing, then you would not require a solicitor or an advocate. You may require, but maybe later on, not in the starting phase, if you want to draw a court's attention to a particular thing that is going on in society. And then it becomes, it will create awareness as well in people. They will become more active. I still remember, I think it was some 4 or 5 years ago, there was this news that for the first time anywhere in the world, there was a town in Italy or Spain, I think it was Spain, where they started this thing, that local council started this facility that you can use tweets, you can use Twitter. If you want to file a complaint, if you want to draw attention of your local council towards a particular point, then what you can do is you can just tweet about it, and the local council will take necessary action. So is this just a small thing or just use of technology? No, it's a big shift. If you observe it, then you will find that it is a big shift from that culture, that medieval culture of writing a long letter. All you can do is you can put your point in 2 or 3 lines, and that's it. You don't have to write this. I'm not saying that official letters are not important. They are important, right? Don't take it negatively. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you want to draw attention, let's say if you have too much of if there is lack of cleanliness in your area, in your society, then you can just tweet, or you can just send a small message to that this address, right? Lack of sanitation, cleaning is not conducted properly, right? Sweepers are not sweeping or doing their jobs properly. Please sort it out as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. That's it. This much is more than enough. Now, what a culture that we have developed is that, and I want you guys to try it. Give it a go, right? Ask your friend to write a letter to your local council, right? Write a letter that is not that good in quality in terms of words, and make it short, or write a long or short, it doesn't matter, but it should not display that much intellectualness. Okay? And then you write a letter that sounds very intellectual, and you will see that the letter that you have written, this intellectual sort of letter, will do its work. It means someone will take an action on the thing that you have written in that letter. So don't you think that this is a culture that we respect people who are good in writing and who are good in this sort of communication, or who are using difficult words? Because the person who is going to read it, he will find that, oh my God, the person who has written, he must be a very important person or a learned person. I must take action. But if you have written a letter that is not that up to the mark, they are using simple words and things, then chances are that they will not take action. This is a culture which is very bad, because these days it should be short and sweet. We have this technology, so why not make it simple? And this is just one example. Now I want you guys to think about it. It can be applied on medical reports, right? It can be applied on judicial stuff, your legal registration documents, everything, right? All official communication we can make it very simple and easy to understand. With this, dear friends, if you want to download the PDF of today's lecture, check out my Telegram channel. You can follow me on Facebook. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. Don't forget to share this lecture with other students and hit the subscribe button. One more thing that I want you guys to think about is how simple language can make justice delivery overall, how it can promote democracy, how it can increase people's participation in politics and things that are going on around us. These are a few points on which I want you guys to think. Okay, integrated healthcare system, very important thing, and this is not just a trend that we find these days. I believe that this integrated healthcare system from a patient's point of view is going on for a very long period of time. I'm sure you might have observed this sort of people, like if they are suffering from something, let's say someone is suffering from a backache, then he or she will visit a doctor, they will have their CT scan, and they will visit a physiotherapist or orthopedics, whatever, and they will take medicines and everything. At the same time, they will, they are going through they are taking some sort of Ayurvedic medicine that will add more calcium and whatever it is, just a rough example. Applies to a heart patient, applies to a person who is suffering from diabetes. He is taking the normal insulin tablets, but at the same time he is also eating food that can boost insulin level, or that can decrease sugar level, and that can help in dealing with diabetes or any other disease or any other thing, right? So this integrated healthcare is something that people prefer, right, from consumer perspective or from patient's perspective. This is something they want, best of both worlds. But unfortunately, what we find this sort of versus situation, right? If you meet allopathic doctor, then doctor will say that you need to follow allopathy, modern medicine, rather than this traditional medicine. Traditional medicines, they don't have that curative or that material in it that will work. If you meet Ayurveda or traditional practitioner, then he or she will tell you that this allopathic doctors, they give you high dose medicines and that will impact you this way and that way, and they just treat your headache if you have an headache. But we go to the very root of your headache, like what is the main reason behind the headache, and we cure that thing so that you never get headache. And so this sort of versus, like, we are the best sort of situation and you are not good, this sort of situation is going on. But this is bad. This is thinking within box. We need to think out of the box. How about if we can create a bridge between allopathic as well as traditional, or Ayush. Ayush in general includes Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy. Everything falls under this big umbrella of Ayush. So we can have a bridge between allopathic medical education as well as Ayush medical or Ayush education. And good thing is that National Education Policy 2020, released by Human Resource Development Ministry, has created a bridge. It is talking about this bridge that will talking about a system that will train allopathic medical education students to have basic understanding about Ayush, and Ayush students will be trained about basic understanding of allopathic medical education. So that's a very interesting thing. That's a very good decision, to be honest, because very rarely we find things in policy that reflect ground reality. The ground reality is that as consumer, as patient, we want best of both world, right? We want traditional medicine to work. We want allopathic. If I'm suffering from something, let's say XYZ disease, and if both of these things can work together and if it can cure me forever, then I would love to do that. Isn't it? Anyone would love to do that. So, and we want no side effect. This is our expectation as a consumer. So if we can, this is a ground reality. And if we see the same thing in policy, then this is really, really amazing. Now, the practice of medicine in any form needs to be guided by evidence. Evidence, research, safety, these are few pillars. We cannot compromise with this sort of things, right? A medicine may cure your headache for now, but what if those material or those chemicals will stay in your kidney for, let's say, 5 years, and it can damage your kidney in long term. So we don't need those sort of medicines, right? Let's have a headache for 5 days. It's okay, rather than damaging your kidneys forever. So it should be based on, any medicine should be based on evidence. We need to, have this tried and tested medicines. May it be Ayurvedic, may it be allopathic, it doesn't matter. It should be tried and tested. It should be peer reviewed and safe. And this versus sort of situation has always this versus situation that I just explained. Particularly, it has caused a huge amount of damage to traditional medicine, because, allopathic medicine and companies associated with it, they are more powerful, they have more money, they have more lobbying power. So most of the time, the research fund is provided to modern medicines only, but traditional medicines, they don't get that much attention and research interest as well as research funding. So we need to get rid of, and I'm sure this new policy, this new education policy, will create more interest and research interest in traditional medicine. We also need to keep in mind that when it comes to traditional medicine, it is not just limited to Ayurveda and Yoga, as we have seen that homeopathy, Unani, Siddha, all this are part of Ayush, and we need to pay more attention to these other branches as well. The development of an integrated healthcare system has not been attempted in any significant manner in any other part of the world, and it would be a very, it would be interesting to see where we will reach. It will almost certainly be an interesting ride. We should tread carefully with research, evidence, and safety protocols. We need to march on. If no one has done it, then we should definitely do it, and we have to do it, right? We have to do it for sure, for the betterment of humanity. Back to the House, by-elections. Now, you know that by-elections are not that attractive. The reason why by-elections are conducted is, one of the main reason is if someone has passed away, or many a times what happens is someone is kicked out of party, someone has done something, or he or she has changed the party, so they are so there is one vacancy, and then we see this by-election. But most of the time it is observed, or it is quite logical to find that the ruling party's candidate will win the by-election. I'll give you one example. Let's say if this is your state and you have 10 MLAs altogether, right? 10 districts, 10 MLAs, let's say. Now, if one of the MLA has passed away, let's say, so you need to, of course, conduct by-election here. So it's very natural if XYZ party is ruling this particular state, right? Then it is very natural to find that people will vote for this XYZ party rather than ABC candidate. Because if you have ABC candidate here, and if this party is going to rule for next 4 years, then you know that your particular district or your constituency is not going to get all those funds and everything easily. We always going to be there. There is always going to be some sort of friction, isn't it? Because you have one MLA that belongs to another party, and then you have other MLAs, they are from a ruling party. This is just a rough example for you to understand. So this is how it works. So logical means people opt for logic. They will vote for the person who, or the party that is in power. Now, the reason why we are discussing this thing is because in Madhya Pradesh, recently we saw this by-election is over. 28 seats were keenly contested because this had elected Congress MLAs in 2018, and the vacancies arose on their defection. This 28 seats or 28 MLAs, they left Congress to join BJP, an event that was monitored as well as orchestrated by senior leader Jyotiraditya Scindia. We know this whole case, right? We have talked about it as well. Now, defection. My main point of interest, or the thing that I'm interested in this article, is defection. Defection means, is it okay, right? If you vote for a person, let's say you have voted for this gentleman called Jyotiraditya Scindia, right? And now you have voted for him because he was a Congress leader, or when this campaigning was going on, he was in Congress. So you voted, you gave your vote to this candidate. Now he is in a different party altogether. So has he cheated you? So that is the big question. Is changing political party moral or immoral thing for a politician? You see, there is no one answer for it. It all depends. Modi wave, right? In 2019 as well as 2014, we saw this Modi wave. So many people in our country, they voted BJP candidate because that particular BJP candidate was not their favorite. They were not, many of them are not aware about that BJP local candidate, but they know this famous face Modi. They like Modi, and that's why they gave their vote to that particular BJP candidate. Many times we also find this thing that you like Modi as a prime minister, you trust him, but you don't like BJP. Right? You like prime minister, you like that individual, but you don't like his party, and you are giving vote to a person who belongs to Congress. But the reason is because that particular person, you don't like Congress either, but you like that particular candidate because that candidate, it doesn't matter if he or she is from BJP, Congress, or any other party. You know that thing for sure that this particular candidate will do good thing in my constituency, and I like Prime Minister Modi at central level, but I would love to see this person to be my MLA or to be my MP or represent my constituency. So it all depends. It all depends on circumstances. One more thing that I would like to add here is, do you think that political parties, right? We see that like it's very important in a democracy to have various different political parties. Right, at least there should be a competition so that at the end of the day, it is the people or citizens who will benefit out of this competition between various different political parties. Now, within political parties as well, you have competition, and I can tell you safely that not a single political party in our country is democratic when it comes to their internal functions. They also calculate who is bringing more money. They also calculate who is belonging to which particular caste. If sentiment in that particular area is more about caste, then they will field a person who will win most of the votes, or So this is how they work. So what happens is, if you don't like a decision that is taken by your party chief, and even if you are an MLA or an MP, and if you don't like the decision that is taken by your party chief, and if you say no to it or if you go against it, then chances are that next time you may not get a ticket, and political party will think that you are not following chain of command and things, and it will, like, if you protest or if you go against the decision, then it is taken negatively. So you see a culture that we find that political parties, they don't function all the time democratically. So this is the reason why we find that some MLAs or MPs, they leave a particular party and then they switch over, they leave a party and they join some other party. So it all depends. What is the main reason for you to leave your party? That matters. So defection is okay. If you're of course changing the party just for money, then that is immoral. But if you're doing it for your freedom, for this sort of things, then that's okay, that's acceptable. Last topic, a time for cautious optimism. So this one is about Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. The name is BNT162B2, and we know that it is 90% effective. That's what this pharmaceutical company Pfizer has said. Now the thing is, it has been tried over 43,000 participants in phase 3, and we still are not sure how much time it will take or how long it will last. By the nature of infection, mild, moderate or severe, that the vaccine can protect against is not clear yet. So we are waiting for some more details about this particular vaccine, and of course the number is going to drop, this effectiveness number. At present it is 90%, but as more people will be tried, it will come down, but 50%, if it is above 50%, then that's okay, that is acceptable. FDA cutoff limit is 50%, so it's going to be above that. Let's hope that it will be above 50%. How it will affect or impact older adults, we are not sure about it. Still, we need to have some more data on it, more light on this thing. And also, as I told you, how long it will protect us. That is also something that is not known. But there are other candidates. Yesterday, I explained to you that this thing works on this, uses this platform mRNA. And there are other candidates, they use mRNA technology, this platform. And fingers crossed, we will see similar result with other platforms. In Oxford University vaccine being tested by AstraZeneca, and other vaccines too produced immune responses similar to Pfizer's in early stage trials and may show encouraging results in phase 3 trials. They are using different platforms, so it's okay, it's good, we are going in right direction, but still we need more data on this thing. And that's basically everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Today is Public Service Broadcasting Day being observed today. It was back in 1947 when Mahatma Gandhi ji visited All India Radio studio in Delhi, and this is the reason why it is celebrated today. And we find that Sputnik 5 vaccine, 92% effective, has been claimed by Russia. And that's everything from my side. I will see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind, and make the most out of this big Diwali sale. Jai Hind.